when you're faced with things that cause anger, pain, or fear, use those emotions and turn them into determination. Welcome to McBain Moments. Before we get started, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the Manor. Please make sure you take a moment and hit subscribe. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time. So make sure you hit subscribe. Okay. Throughout our lives, things happen. And we make mistakes. And what ends up happening, or bad things happen to us, and what ends up happening is some of us tend to dwell on those mistakes. They tend to dwell on the bad things. We can't let that happen. Memories fuel anxieties. They fuel fear, they fuel anger. Things happen to you, they make you angry. They make you frustrated. You're afraid of what the result could be. And you'll remember in a past video I quoted someone, and I wish I remembered who it was. If it makes you afraid, you should probably be doing it. Turn your anger, turn your frustration, use it as fuel to create determination. Use that determination to grow and become the best you can be. And it doesn't matter the source of it. Whether you are the one who are in the wrong or someone wronged you, none of that matters. You can't allow it to dominate your life. Take the lessons learned from what happened. Take all that emotion, because emotion's what fuels memory. You can do something, if you don't have an emotion attached to it, you're not going to remember it. But take all of those emotions and turn them into a ball. And you're going to use that ball as the tinder for a fire. And you're going to light that fire, and that fire is called determination. That determination fuels the fire, which heats the kettle, which pushes steam into the engine that is your progress. Progress toward your goals. Progress toward the grand quest. Or even the regular day-to-day quest. It doesn't matter. Because what ends up happening, if you don't use those emotions as fuel for determination, you will get buried as the ball grows. Because that's what happens. If you don't use determination to burn down all that fuel, it'll bury you in this avalanche of emotions, of frustrations, of anger, of pain. And once it gets too big, it turns into something called resentment. Once it turns into resentment, it's a lot harder to get rid of. Because that means it's solidified. I'm not entirely sure it's possible to completely eliminate resentment. You can get rid of a lot of it. You can burn away at it, but it takes far, far longer to burn away at resentment than it does any other emotion. Because it's all of those other emotions solidified, allowed to fester. Don't allow that to happen to yourself. And we've all got resentments of someone. We've all got things that happened in our past that we didn't like. And we resent that they happened, or we resent the people that did it to us, or we feel we resent ourselves. And that we were participating in these things. It doesn't matter. Take all of that pain and wad it into a ball and light that bitch on fire. And use the heat of that determination to become better. We all make mistakes in our lives. Sometimes we're faced with a decision and we make the wrong one. Or worse, we don't make any decision at all and we just let things happen. I recently read a quote. It is better to make the wrong decision than to not make a decision at all because of fear. And so you make your best attempt, and if something goes wrong, you learn from it. Don't let yourself wallow in the mistake. And I've learned this the hard way. Don't wallow in your mistakes. Learn from them. Those who wallow in mistakes will never grow. They will never get better. They will never become more than they already are because they're focused on the past. You need to look forward into the future. The past happened. There is nothing you can do to change it. And as Rafiki said back in Lion King, you can either run from it or learn from it. And if you're not learning from it, then you're doomed to do it again. Turn all that emotion into determination, learn from the mistakes, and grow. Use it as the fuel to 10x your life. Because that's the only way you're going to move past things and become the best you can be. And I know that everyone who watches this, if you're still with me at this point, I think I'm on like McBain moment 35 or 40. If you're still with me at this point, you know how I feel about growth. It's inevitable. You're either growing or you're shrinking. You're either moving forward or backward. There's no stagnation. Stagnation lasts for moments, maybe a couple days. You might hit a plateau, but as long as you keep ramming your head against that roof, you're growing. Eventually you'll bust through. It's kind of like playing Dark Souls for all my gamers out there, which I think is 99.9% of my audience. It's just like playing Dark Souls. You run your head into the wall until you break through it. And then you find the next boss. Fear, anger, resentment, pain, frustration. These are all fuel. Use them to fuel your fire. Because that's the best way to overcome anything. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're on the road to 13 million subscribers and I want you part of the movement. This has been a McBain moment.